forward. Raise forward. Raise forward. And 3, 2, 1.
So I'm back already, and I haven't done anything really. Wanted to point something out. When Gramp was here last, I'm pretty sure you can see this. It's number 49. He got kind of excited about that because that's his birthday, and that's also the number on his car. He said it was coincidence or something. I don't know. It is kind of fun that it was number 49. It would have been funner if it were number 84. Just saying. But yeah, so while we're here, since I got you again, we're gonna just delete on the rear tail light, rear fender. We're gonna remove this grab bar thing, the plastic inner fender, and then of course we have the electrical. So I'm going to unplug a bunch of stuff. And I'll likely have to plug a bunch of stuff back in, just to figure out what actually goes to what. But I'm planning on taking these rear shocks out and then lowering the back down as far as it can, and then making temporary solid struts to get the back as low as possible, because I think we're actually going to make the back of the car, or the back of the, I work on cars more than bikes, the back of the bike rigid. All right, so I've got a bunch of stuff peeled off the back of the bike. The rear fender off, the inner plastic fender thing, got the air box out. That was a little bit of a tricky thing, but it just comes out. It's not too bad, but getting it twisted around was a little interesting. The little toolbox that sits right below the battery, of course, took the battery out. The toolbox sits below the battery, got that out. Took the side stand off, so now we just have the center stand for the time being. And then I took the rear sets off. And in order to get the both shocks out, this shock was fine, that came right off, but the other shock was hidden behind the exhaust. So I have the exhaust dropped off it right now. And then the next thing I want to do is, I've got stuff kind of stripped, but I need this rear to hold itself in a position. It doesn't have to be the perfect position. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the motorcycle jack, and I'm going to slide it up underneath the rear wheel here. And then I'm going to just jack it up until it gets to the spot that I want it, which basically, I want to go as high as possible for the time being, without touching anything. So as far as there's a bar right here, and then there's this spot right here. I basically just want to bring it up until it doesn't touch, and then I got to figure out what I'm going to do here. I got to decide if I'm just going to drill some flat bar. Probably just going to drill some flat bar to go in, that will go from here to here on both sides for now. And I'll just put a nut on it so the flat bar holds it in place. And that way there I can start planning the height of the bike. It doesn't have to be final, but it starts to give me an idea of how low the bike can be for future stuff. So it actually could be lower than this. It's just the next issue is, or the issue is, this bar that's in the frame here that ties the two sides together is in the way, and then this little bar here is trouble. Now I don't know about the chain, like when it starts to hit stuff, but it looks like we could go, like I said, we could go even lower if this crossbar wasn't here. So maybe I'll make even more temporary struts, and maybe I'll just go grab some wood. Or, well actually, if I make a couple of bars that drill holes, I can always drill, if I want to go even lower, I can always drill more holes or I can actually just design up some bars and laser the holes so that it's super adjustable. But I'll look around and see. I build things here all the time. I do fabrication projects all the time, but we very specifically make each of the pieces from someone else's design to then build whatever it is. I don't do a lot of just like off the cuff fabrication like you would, in your own shop at home or whatever. I don't just build little widgets for folks here. Typically it's larger projects with, an assembly. We manufacture complete functioning assemblies for folks, including the fabrication side of things, which is we pre-cut all the parts, laser, bend, and then I TIG weld them together, or machining. John does a whole bunch of machining, some of the things that we have to put together, and then post machining and all that. So I'll dig around. There's gotta be some flat bar around here, and I'll make some struts that go in here. Because the one thing I really want to do before the night's out, it's a little after 9 now. I'm kind of slow sometimes. And the wiring, I was hoping to dig into the wiring and get it figured out, but at this moment right now, I don't really feel like it. I don't really feel like it. It's probably doable, honestly, without a lot of effort. Maybe if I look at it a little bit more. Oh, something else that is the tack is driven off from the camshaft, off the end of the camshaft. I'll have to make a plug. I'll have to machine a plug that goes in place of where that goes to actually completely delete that out. But yeah, so I'm going to go around. I'm going to see if I can't find some flat bar that I can cut to length and just drill and just put on here and make myself some temporary struts, so we can slam the rear and and then we can maybe slam the front and get an idea of the altitude of this thing as it is for fun. And also that's where we're going. We're going as low as possible and potentially as long as possible, but we're not going to jump out ahead of that too quickly. We're going to have to make it longer though, because if I'm ever going to ride this, which I might, it's going to have to be a lot longer than just for Bob. I can't remember how much taller than Bob I am, but I have really long arms too, which is can make it very difficult for me to ride this if it's super short. And be aerodynamic anyways. All right, so I'm gonna go look for flat bar, see if I can't rig this up, and then kind of daydream a little bit more about what else I can take off. I was gonna take this chain guard off too, probably. I'm not a super fan of exposed chains, like where my pants are gonna be. I'm not really into that. So I may not delete that yet, just for that type of safety device, but we'll see. All right, flat bar it is, or whatever. Mint. All right, so found the perfect piece of flat bar. It's just quarter inch thick by 1.25 inches. This piece here, and I had to use the bandsaw to cut it. And John has a very interesting vertical bandsaw, which he has a really nice auto feed horizontal saw too, but I definitely don't know how to run that one. But I do kind of know how to run this one, and this one's neat. So this is a roll-in bandsaw. So how it works is the table is fixed in place. You got this, got the clamp here, so you pull this out. So this is this bar here, this stop he's created, he's built, and then added this on there too, so it's really easy to clamp stuff. But anyways, so the whole saw itself, it rolls back and forth and uses an incline and a counterweight in order to feed it. So this lever here, if I pull up on it, you can see it over centers. It over centers, and now the bandsaw, the weight of it starts down that incline. You can see it goes down the incline. Whoops, now I got my flat bar stuck there. So we'll go back up, over centers, it holds it in place. So this is a pretty cool saw. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set you folks up here, and hopefully you'll be able to see this. And then so put clamp in, and then we're going 9 inches on these, and I'm just eyeballing it in the gap. I'm not really thinking too much about it, to be honest. All right, so then we'll. This has got a cool little cam, so you just you just push in, and then it cams over it, and you lock it in place, which is nice. It's really quick. And then take tape measure out, turn it on, and then we slowly let it come in. So it's a really neat saw, and I'm pretty sure you can change the counterweight, so the feed rate. So I'm actually holding the lever, fighting it from coming down the incline, because I don't want it to feed too fast and ruin his blade for him. So probably the last thing he wants to do is come in the morning and go cut some stock and have to change a bandsaw blade, because if any of you have changed these blades before, they're a pain. They're not fun at all. But yeah, it's just a really neat saw. It's called a roll-in bandsaw. Let's see how good I did with eyeballing. Oh, that actually came out pretty good. They're really close. All right, so I'm going to clean these up, and I'm going to pop some holes in them. Honestly, I don't know if I have to use the mill or if the drill press actually works. I don't know if that works. We'll see. Or I'll just drill them by hand. I can do that too. Not crazy stuff we're doing here. All right, so clean them up, drill some holes. All right, so we want the center to be 7.5 inches, or center to center 7.5 inches. I cut this 9, so then I can be 3/4 of an inch off from the end, which I should probably have. I should probably have had gotten a marker, but I didn't. Which is all right, because this tape measure is 3/4 inch wide. So if I line the edge of the tape up there, and then it's just 3/4 inches wide like this, then I can just, and this is 1.25 inches wide, so then I can line it up on my 5/8 and just center punch it. And yes, I'm using a claw hammer. I took all my ball peens home, and I don't want to fish for a ball peen in this stuff. So yes, I am using a claw hammer, which you'd think in a machine shop I'd have a ball peen, but I don't right now. Well, I do. I have a little baby one. I have this little baby ball peen that I bought from Gary the Pine Man one summer when he was having a yard sale. All right, so I got those. Now I'm just going to drill them up. And there isn't a vise. There isn't a vise on the drill press anyways, and I don't want to go set up, use the mill, so I'm just going to drill on the side here. Why is it chirping? Wow. What on earth? Is that drill really that? Oh, it is that chowdered. Oh my. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. That drill is junk. Weird. Alright, so I'm either going to go sharpen or go find another one. Or center to center 7.5 inches. I cut this 9. So then I can be 3/4 of an inch off from the end, which I should probably have. I should probably have had gotten a marker, but I didn't. Which is all right because this tape measure is 3/4 inch wide. So if I line the edge, of the tape up there, and then it's just 3/4 inches wide like this, then I can just, and this is 1 1/4 wide, so then I can line it up on my 5/8 and just center punch it. And yes, I'm using a claw hammer. I took all my ball peens home, and I don't want to fish for a ball peen in this stuff. So yes, I am using a claw hammer. What you'd think in a machine shop, I'd have a ball peen, but I don't right now. Well, I do. I have a little baby one. I have this little baby ball peen that I bought from Gary the Pine Man one summer when he was having a yard sale. All right, so I got those. Now I'm just going to drill them up. And there isn't a vise. There isn't a vise on the drill press anyways, and I don't want to go set up, use the mill, so I'm just going to drill on the side here. Why is it chirping? Wow. What on earth? Alright, so I found a better drill. I'm actually going to put it in the vise here. So my work is stable. Perfect. Looks centered. Using my face as a drill press, it's nice. There we go. I'm gonna drill the pilots for both, and then I'll put the bigger drill in, which I can't remember what size I end up with. So 15-30 seconds, because it was the shock mounts measured 470 thousandths. So you may notice that I tilt the drill back and forth. It's just I'm steering the center of I'm steering the center of the hole, and I'm just eyeballing if it's off one way or the other, and just driving it straight from there. There we go. We'll switch drills. This one's going to be fun to break through. Probably should have used a step drill, but John's step drills are for thinner material. Problem with a big step drill like this in a hand drill and this type of material is that when it goes to break through, it breaks through and then catches the two cutting edges and stops the drill. we go. And then you have to kind of let off, give it light pressure, and then go again. I'm going to go double check this real quick, make sure that this fits. Yep, fits great. I just got to do, I'll just have to clean up the burrs on the edges, like for countersink. I'll just take a countersink tool, chamfer them just a little bit, and then that should work perfect. Actually, so you can see this, look. See how it breaks through? So those two cutting edges break through and then it just stops it dead. Because the last little bit deflects down out of the hole and it catches the drill bit. So then you kind of have to wind it up and work your way down through. There we go. All right, now I gotta, I'll get countersink and we'll clean up the edges of the holes, and then I gotta clean up all these chips on the bench here. So I'll countersink these, clean the chips up, and then we will actually put this thing together. So having a set of countersinks like this, just a set of the sizes, so 1 inch down to 1/4, is invaluable in a shop, especially when you're drilling holes like this, because now we can just grab, I'll probably go with the 3/4, we'll grab this, we'll put it in the drill, and we'll clean up those edges. A lot of folks will use a larger drill bit, but the problem is it's not nice and smooth and it catches. So this, we can put it in there and then we can break a nice edge on that. Apparently I haven't tightened the truck up enough. But, so we got that nice broken edge there. There we go. Now we got a hardtail strut kit. And we can, I got chips everywhere over here. Corralling them back in. So we got our hardtail kit. I'm going to clean this up, put stuff away, put tools away, and then we'll install it and see how slammed our little 125 is. Okay, so we have our expertly fabricated hardtail kit that will hopefully, presumably, go right on. That one went right on. Now this one, I think we just gotta let this down a bit, and maybe we gotta go up a little bit. It's a little crooked. Well, we need a little extra bit here. There. So those are on. Now we can get our jack out of here. And voila, we have, uh-oh. Oh, the brake is, the brake is fully actuated because the thing's gotten so short now that it's actually got the rear locked right up. I was like, why won't it move? Anyways, so this is, yeah, we got our on there. So then we can just slap all the washers back on so we don't lose them. I know that there was some of these that actually went on there. I could have put those on first, but it doesn't really matter. And then the top had 2 washers for some reason. And these are not forever, but these are enough that it'll hold the bike while we try different altitudes and attitudes, I would say. So let's get this other side on. And I now have a nut that I'm not sure what it goes to, which is great. It's my favorite. Get a couple of washers on over here. And then maybe while I'm here, I can adjust the slider nut up, because I think that is also 14. Everything is either 14 millimeter or everything is either 14 millimeter, 12 millimeter, or 10. And then there was a couple of bigger ones, but oh, we're getting there. There we go. Ta-da! It rolls now. Just like that. Okay, so we're slammed. We're slammed as far as we can go on the back. So, what do you say? What do you say we put it down on off from the center stand and see the stance overall? I know I got wires hanging out from everywhere, but I've been wanting to do this part for a while. So we're going to jump to that. All right, so I got to clean up a few things. We got to get some stuff out of the way here. We got wires, like I said, dangling from everywhere. Get those out of there. The exhaust, I forgot. That's laying on the floor still. So there's always that. Got rear set and bolt. Got those bolts for the exhaust. Here's the exhaust. I actually thought that it would have a clamp right here, so then we could just take the silencer off, but it doesn't. I may just saw it off, but if I do that, it's also unsupported because it would be supported from here to there. And if I chop it here, presumably, then it will just be supported at the flange on the cylinder head, which is kind of fatigues things. It's not always great, especially if it's vibrating. We won't be running it. We won't be running it very long with it like that for it to do like permanent damage per se. But nonetheless, I don't want to break anything just being foolish. Oh yeah, I remember what we're doing. So we're gonna get it down on the wheel, down on the wheels here. I wish I didn't have so much stuff just dangling everywhere. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna lift it. Well, actually, you just go forward. Slammed. Now it's like a chopper. So my fork tubes are already sliding on me because I'd already loosened these up. That actually looks pretty rad, to be, if I could be honest. So like, if you want to make a little chopper bobber, here's the recipe. You make 7-inch on center solid struts for the rear, and you leave the front exactly the way it was, because the fronts are actually pretty long anyway. So that's like raked out, chopped out. I kind of want to get a picture of it like this now. So I got to figure out how to hold it like this. Maybe I get the jack, because I want a picture of it all choppered out. Plus I want to send a picture to Bob because he'll think it's pretty cool. Although now I kind of want to get the forks not so droopy, so the full rakedness is there. How am I going to hold this up? Maybe No, we're gonna have to. So now this is the part with not having a kickstand. Ugh. And now it's like 4 miles to get it up on the center stand. Ready? Oh, jeez. All right, so we're gonna fix these front forks. Everything's just a hot, floppy mess now. Oh boy, we're gonna fix these fronts because they came up like an inch, and I want it. I want the full effect, you know. I don't want it to be sort of flopped out there. We'll just tighten these down by hand, anyways, to pinch them like that. There we go. I'll try to stick this clutch lever up in there. Okay, there's that. Now I gotta figure out how to hold it. So let's get the motorcycle jack, which is honestly almost useless on this motorcycle because of the fact that there is no frame under the motorcycle. Because the engine itself is attached here and back here, and there's no frame underneath, and the exhaust hangs lower than the engine case, and also the rear brake hangs lower. So the jack is like pretty pointless, but I think it will help us hold. I think we can go under the front and have it hold it upright just enough so we can look at it in the super choppery state. Let's see if I can run into stuff. Oh, it's a long ways down off that stand now. Holy cow. It actually looks super rad like that. I'm pretty jazzed because it's just super neat looking. Now, I don't know if this is going to work, but we can sure try. It's only going to stay like this. There, I think it's going to stay. It's only going to stay like this long enough that I can snap a picture. It's only got to stay like this long enough so I can get a picture of it like this, and I'll send it to Bob. And then I'll tell him we're going to build a chopper instead of a land speed motorcycle, and then see what he says. He'll probably be surprised a bit. I kind of really just want to leave it like that. It's just really cool. The only thing is where you sit, though. So when you chop this out, I'm thinking now, because this looks super rad, but like where you sit, you'd be sitting here, and like, I'm afraid it's going to fall over. You'd be sitting here, and you have to get something, a pan, super tight down in here, just a flat pan basically. Get your butt down far enough, but my knees would be here on this. Actually, I can probably show you. So if I sit on this, it's, I don't know, maybe it's not that bad. You just get some drag bars, just some flat bars like that, or you get, some little chop, well, you can't see me up here. This is how we're gonna be. We're gonna be hugging this like we're taking a nap. Look how big I am compared to this thing. Oh boy. Okay, now let's see what it looks like with the front slammed, because that's gonna be cool. Uh-oh, it's gonna fall over, yep. Okay, so we'll move the jack out of the way. We're gonna put it back up on the center stand, which is fun to do, like that. And now we're going to lower the front. And we're going to do that just by jamming the tubes up in. So then I just have to loosen up. Just got to loosen up these front clamps. What on earth? We need power tools. I'm getting tired. There we go. Okay, so there's that. Now we got to decide how far to go down in the front. Is that far enough, you think? I'm guessing that's probably far enough. We'll go just a skosh more. There we go. All right, we're gonna call that legit. We just snug. We're not looking to kill it here. We're not looking to make them bleed. We just want to snug them up so that they stay. I wish, something. Okay, so there's that. Now, ooh, that looks super cool too. I think I need to do, let's see if I can get focused. I think I need to do more motorcycle-y things. They're so simple and fun. I've spent like 3 hours and I've been filming, and I don't know, I've never taken one of these apart. So I've been fiddly farting around, and I'm in John's shop, which I'm not familiar with doing this type of work in here. I'm usually doing welding work. So it takes me a little bit longer than it would at home in my own shop where I know everything is. Well, building a new or finishing a new little shop, and I haven't organized it yet, but we'll get there. But nonetheless, they're just fun. They're simple. They don't take up a lot of space. They're fairly inexpensive. They can get really expensive, obviously, but this is just cool. It's a fun little bike. Now I'll take it back down off the back, and then I'll figure out how to balance it again. So let's see that. Taking it off the center stand is brutal though. And that's the way to go. You unweight it all the way. Oh, it's slammed now. Ooh, that actually looks like a land speed stance if I ever were to see one. Now I got to figure out how to hold it up. This bike is miserable to do with a jack. There's like a perfect balance point with the brake pedal and the bottom of the frame, and then it will stay, but it's kind of sketchy. Now that looks really cool too. All right, we gotta get some pictures of this bad later now too. Woo, wait, look at that. That thing is slammed. It could still be lower, but I think that's low enough to do what we want to do. Ooh, that's cool. That is super cool. I'm already excited about like cutting things off. What a neat project. All right, pictures. I'm at that point of tired where I'll just like stare at it for too long. Worst part is you can't put bars back on to like make this thing not unwieldy to move around. Yeah. Actually unwieldy. Sound effects for the YouTube Shorts. Of course, I'm in my own light. And all right, Bob, what I'm going to do is I'm going to text you these pictures. It's 10 o'clock at night. I don't know if you go to bed early or what, but I got to text you some pictures of this bike and see what you think. No, Duffy, not Buffy, you fool. There we go. All right, here we go. Da-da, da-da, da-da. And Chopper Town. Chopper. Chopper time. Ooh, that thing looks cool. It's so cool looking. All right, we'll keep working, and we'll see if Bob gets back to us with any, excitement or whatever. I'm sure he's gonna be jazzed. So what am I gonna do next? Stare at it a bunch. I mean, that's an idea. It is 10 o'clock on a Monday night, and I got a pretty full day tomorrow. And I did stay up until 1 the last couple nights doing some video editing, working in the garage. I don't know. Maybe I just let it simmer. Maybe I just, simmer a bit. Actually, you know what I should do? I should actually try to sit on this and see how silly it is from someone of my size. I'm not that big. I'm actually only, let's see if you can get to focus. I'm only like 6 foot, 180 pounds. So I'm not that big, but I got really long arms. And Bob is definitely not as tall as I am, and not as heavy as I am either. So if we're both going to ride this unit, then if we're both going to ride this thing, then we gotta make a plan. So the idea would be, maybe I'll move this out of here. Yep. So the idea would be that it'd be laid down. Can you see? Oh yeah. And then a foot, I don't know if I can do this. And then the rear sets would be back here. Oh boy. Oh, it's slammed now. I did not tighten those enough. It is super slammed now. It can't go any lower. This is kind of like, this is the chopper action right here. Just like put some clip-ons on the tops of these and just ride it. That's slammed. That reminds me of like the drag bikes in Thailand. I love watching the videos on those guys. Some wild stuff. Like I said, we can get the rear lower too. We're gonna start hitting our pivot with our chain pretty regularly. It's on the slack side, so it won't be terrible, but that is a thing. But man, we can delete on a bunch of this frame though. All these mounts down here for the passenger peg mounts, that can go. All of the kickstand mounts can go. The mid-set mounts, those will just come off. I don't know how much cutting off we want to do there. We can trim the center stand mounts, and we'll just end up having, I mean, honestly, you could have a block at this point. It could be so low. Then it's a question of how do we make it big enough for myself and Bob. And the idea is maybe this will be a streamliner in the future, or at least a partial streamliner. So we have to like get down low enough and out so that we can build a body that covers us and we're not just like really tall on the bike. So that is a consideration. So it either needs to get longer this way, you know, longer in the back and longer in the front, or I was thinking just longer in the front, which is possible. I don't think we'll use this tank, although it is kind of comfortable to lay on your chest on that tank. But we may actually have to lay down even more to have our feet back far enough. Sometimes the rear sets on the bikes, sometimes they're all the way back here, like they're way beyond the rear axle. So your foot is all the way back here to give you enough room. Your knee is like down in this area, your foot's here, and then your butt is here, and then you're laying on your chest all the way out, and the front's extended out far enough that your arms are comfortable, and then you put like fuel tank on the side. So yeah, I think, it's an Omron switch. It's an Omron switch for the kickstand. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out how to make this run again with all this stuff cut off it or taken out of it. Super cool though. I think we're gonna call it quits there though. I can tell I'm tired because now I'm rambling and just back to you folks, which is annoying. So this is progress.